Hola, bienvenidos a Lightspeed Spanish. Today I'm going to share with you the biggest, in my view, the biggest impediment that we have to learn Spanish grammar. The one thing that gets in our way every time. ¿Y eso qué es? Pues hablamos de todo en la segunda parte. Ojalá tuviera yo un español más decente. If you were like me, you probably went through your school days learning English, poking a stick at it. And it was all nice and very nice and all of that, but I didn't really pay that much attention. And so what happened was when I started learning Spanish, I opened the book and I saw things like the present tense. Now, you see, I was fine with that. Probably you are too. Your present tense, I know what that is. I eat, I speak, all of that. Yeah. Then in the next page, I was given the name the present continuous. I'm thinking, okay, the present continuous. Now, hang on a minute. Would that be? I am eating. Ha! Got that one. No problem. Okay, so I was up to there. I was still managing. And then we got to the next page and it said the present perfect. And I thought, oh, the present perfect. What could be the present perfect? What would that be? When I looked, I saw that it was a past tense. And I was thinking, hang on, it's called the present perfect. Well, it's not that perfect, is it? Because it's a past tense and it's the I have eaten. I have eaten, I have spoken. And as I went through, I became more and more confused with the names. Unless I was given an example, I just became confused with the names. And in Spanish, they're no better. They don't get any better. They don't get any easier in Spanish. Sometimes they're different. Sometimes they're the same. For example, in Spanish, what is el pretérito perfecto simple? Or, for example, what is in Spanish el pretérito indefinido? Or, what is el pasado simple? 3 names. It's the same tense. It's just the past. It's I ate. That's the tense. I ate. 3 different names. Why? Don't know. Just to confuse you. And let's not get to the pluscuamperfecto. The pluperfect. What's that? What is the pluscuamperfecto? Well, it's I had eaten. That's all. And then we got el pluscuamperfecto de subjuntivo. And so the impediment that we've got is that we are reading books in which we're given names that we can't link to what we know. We know all of the tenses. You know them all. You are an expert on the tenses. But you wouldn't think so. I've had so many classes where I've said something like, just like, can you conjugate that verb? And I've had students say, what does conjugate mean? That's not their fault. They were just not told that in school, that conjugating is just, then I started to say, can you break that verb down into the people? I, you, he. I had to dumb down my language because we haven't been taught that. Now in other countries, here in Spain, the grammar's a lot better. People understand the grammar a lot more. But from the UK, no. I was nonplussed by the grammar. And I always knew when somebody had learnt Latin when they were in my classes because they would say, I'm going to decline this verb, decline. That's the people who are declensions. They decline verbs. We conjugate verbs or we break them down. So what's the answer? How do we overcome this issue we've got, this block with the names? Well, we start by doing this. And we say, other than the present tense, which we know, okay? We know. Nobody's worried about, oh, I can't understand what you mean by the present tense. But beyond that, what I do now, when I'm teaching, what I say is the I have eaten tense, the I am eating tense, the I ate tense, the I had eaten tense. Everyone understands that. They go, oh yeah, I had eaten, yeah. I mean, that's quite complex, It's the pluperfect. That's the name they've given it. The pluperfect. But it's just I had eaten. Everyone knows that. The conditional. The conditional. At least that one's got a semblance of sense to it, which is I would eat. I would eat. That's the condition. I would eat, but I'll give you the condition. Or I would eat if you give me lots of money. Okay? I don't know, that would be weird, wouldn't it? I'll give you lots of money so you eat. But that's at least a condition, and I think, well, I can get my head around that. But how can you get your head around the present perfect when it's I have eaten? And let's not get started on the subjunctive. Now, you see, on the subjunctive, now you can't say it's the tense. Why? Because in English, you wouldn't know it was there, except when you say, the doctor says that he stay in bed. Now, normally it would be that he stays in bed, but the doctor says, giving an order, it's an obligation. That's our subjunctive. The doctor says that he stay in bed. It's getting lost now in English, but that's what we do. And then the past subjunctive, we can't say this is the blah, 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 because all that we do with the past subjunctive in English is we use the past. And we say, if I had the opportunity, I would do it. So if I had, not if I have, the true subjunctive is if I were to have, I would do it. But even then we're using were and not am. If I am to have it, no, if I were to have it, were in the past. So our past subjunctive, we just piggyback the past tense. And our present subjunctive, we use the infinitive. There you are, there's another word, the infinitive. What is the infinitive? It's a verb in its full form. To eat is the infinitive. But if you don't know it and the teacher says, what is the infinitive for blah, blah, blah? You think, I don't know what that means. So what's the solution? Well, for the most part, we just say to the teacher, I would like you to teach me the I ate tense. Super, the teacher knows what you're talking about. You know what you're talking about. And little by little, learn the tenses, learn the names, because when you read books, unfortunately, that's all they do is they'll give you a name. And unless there's an example, I love examples. I always want to say, don't give me the name, give me the example, then give me the name, so I know what you're talking about. But it really is worth learning the names. However, I've worked with people, I remember working with a man who had dyslexia, and he would get into panic when he was faced with these names. And so he started to call the tenses by his own names. So he called the preterite tense, the I ate tense, he would call that Mary. Okay, that's the Mary tense. And for him, he understood what that meant. And so in the classes, I would say, come on, we're going to study the Mary tense now. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what name you give it, as long as you know what it is. Lo bueno del español es que en términos gramaticales es más o menos igual. Es como el inglés. Si tú sabes decir I have eaten en inglés, pues sabes decir he comido en español. Es igual, y la estructura es más o menos igual. Pero hay que aprender los nombres. Es importante a lo largo de tus estudios. Pero al principio no es necesario. Y te vas a confundir. Bueno chicos, eso es todo. Ese es el secreto. Simplemente dices, I'm going to learn the I used to eat tense. Perfecto. Ya lo tienes. Comías y comías. Hasta luego chicos. Adiós.